Okay, so I am here with Alyssa Martens and we are talking about Lungs of the Earth. Alyssa, can you tell us a little bit about this project and what it is?
For sure. So I lead Studio Poetica, which is a brand new art and education studio. Cool. And we focus on interactive and immersive learning environments, particularly around themes of ecology and migration.
Oh.
This particular project, Lungs of the Earth, is a sonic journey into the Amazon rainforest.
Amazing.
I developed it with a number of Brazilian and indigenous artists from the northern region of Brazil. I myself am also Brazilian from São Paulo. It's a 17-minute soundscape that we developed. And it involves field recordings from an artist named Felix Bloom, who does sound recordings all over the world. And there's also 4 spoken word poems that are incorporated throughout. So it starts with a poem called Water that takes place near the river. You are journeyed through the forest and into a forest fire and taken into the second poem. And the third poem is one that I write and perform in the piece, which is in São Paulo. And it's about the smoke traveling from the forest into the city. And the last poem is called Earth, and its reflections in the aftermath of disaster. So that's the project. I can tell you more about what's on the table.
Holy moly, yeah. First of all, that sounds like a really amazing sort of multi-sensory experience that you have this sort of auditory component. But something that I can sort of see here as well is that there's a lot of cool accessibility features that you've worked on too. So I like that you use a touch book with tactile illustrations and some ASL interpreting. Can you sort of speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, for sure. So a big focus on the projects that we do are on creative accessibility. So thinking not about access as like a last minute checklist, but more so how we can incorporate accessibility from the beginning.
Okay.
So I can, in the visual that's on the screen here, it's from our premiere at Logue Studio that happened last week. There are some visual displays that people could interact with, which would cast shadows on the walls.
Okay.
They are also tactile, so people could go up and they could touch them if they want. We created this tactile book so that people could also sit and experience the visuals through touch. This is primarily for non-visual audiences. Yeah, it's obviously open to anybody who wants to use it. We had ASL interpretation of the full soundscape. So that if an audience member wanted to, they could experience I didn't mention that there's haptics in it, but experience the haptics in the floor or through the haptic belt that we had, and then follow the experience through ASL.
Hey.
We have an audio described tour.
Okay.
This guides people through so this was part of the installation, which would guide people through the experience through a non-visual pathway. And lastly, we have an English transcript. So if somebody wanted to read through the whole transcript of describing the sounds and describing the poems and everything, you can also read it.
Wow. It is incredible that so much of the intention of this was done with accessibility in mind. I think often in art spaces that, like you said, gets relegated to an end of project checklist, and having it built around all of these components is really amazing. How was the launch? I'd be so curious to see how it went.
Yeah, it was really good. So the photos that are on the screen here are actually from the launch. The space at Logue Studio is really wonderful because it's spatialized audio already. So they actually have 38 speakers. So it's very immersive. Their floor is fully haptic. So for example, there's the soundscape starts in the river. There's some forest fire sounds, there's thunder, and all of that you can experience under, on the ground. So here there's some images of people casting light through the screen. I've just clicked on an image where there's someone lying down. So there are a lot of people that actually lay down, take wire, and sit so they can feel it.
So cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have to wrap up, but I really appreciate you sharing something that is an amazing project, but also really cool from an accessibility point.
Thank you. And the soundscape is actually available until the end of the year.
Okay.
On the Edith Lando website under Lungs of the Earth installations. Okay. You can actually download the soundscape there and listen to it or share it with your class.
Okay. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Alyssa.
Yes.